Well, the Securities and Exchange Commission rejecting Grayscale's application for a spot Bitcoin ETF, and the company is now suing the SEC. CNBC reached out to the SEC on this issue. They were not immediately available for comment outside normal U.S. working hours. Joining us now in a Squawk exclusive is Grayscale CEO Michael Sonnenschein. Michael, great to have you with us.
Good morning, Melissa. Great to be here.
Is there a precedent for this sort of action to sue the SEC for a rejection?
Well, Melissa, it's been a busy 12 hours for the Grayscale team. Of course, last night getting the SEC's decision, we were, of course, very disappointed. But as an organization, we were ready. Regulators do get sued, and it does happen frequently. Last night, after receiving the SEC decision, our attorneys almost immediately filed a petition for review with the appellate court in D.C., and that starts the litigation process contesting the SEC's decision, which we, of course, vehemently disagree with.
What is the core thrust of that suit? If you can just give me sort of the elevator pitch, so to speak, on why the SEC is wrong in this decision.
Well, we've laid out these arguments throughout the last couple of months leading up to this decision, really looking at the fact that the SEC is acting arbitrary and capricious by continuing to approve Bitcoin futures-based ETFs while continuing to deny spot Bitcoin ETFs. And when you look at the Administrative Procedure Act, which is really what governs the way that regulators have to govern, they have to be treating like issues alike. And in this case, they're not. They're actually discriminating against issuers like Grayscale who are trying to, bring a product further into the U.S. regulatory perimeter here.
What is the sales pitch right now for prospective GBTC investors, Michael? A lot of folks had gotten on board GBTC early on when there was no other way to easily invest in Bitcoin. But now, more recently, in hopes that this would be turned into ETF and that investors would actually capture that arbitrage, which right now is about 28% to net asset value. If the GBTC is not converted to an ETF, what's the pitch? Why be in this that doesn't track the underlying so well?
Well, certainly a lot of investors are putting capital into Bitcoin even after this recent, sell-off. And if they can commit capital to GBTC at, let's say 70 cents on the dollar versus putting assets into Bitcoin, and they believe that our common sense arguments underpinning this lawsuit will ultimately prevail and we will be able to overturn the SEC's decision, we are not going to stop. We're going to put the full resources of the firm behind this lawsuit. This is what investors want and, quite frankly, what they deserve. When we take a step back, Melissa, and you and I have been talking about this for years, GBTC was born in the United States in 2013. We've worked to turn this into the world's largest Bitcoin fund. It is invested today by millions of Americans in all 50 states. So the fact that a U.S. regulator is shunning the opportunity to bring this further into the regulatory perimeter and give investors more disclosure, more protections, this is an unbelievably missed opportunity on their part.
So if I got this right, Michael, then it sounds like you're saying that the real reason is for the opportunity to invest in Bitcoin at a discount to Bitcoin. So basically, it is the arbitrage hope that you're selling at this point.
Well, I do think that investors tend to have a longer term time horizon for their Bitcoin, allocations. And if they can stomach the volatility and be patient for it, then yes, for some investors who do have that outlook, that would be an attractive opportunity. And again, leaning into the common sense arguments underpinning this lawsuit, we will continue to fight for what investors want and what we know that they deserve.